All right, everyone. Thanksgiving is done. I've donned the hat, and it's time to talk about one of my favorite topics in board game space, which is small box games. Maybe it's because they're so easy to give as gifts, which works as part of today's topic, but also the minimalism, the simplicity, and the ratio of components, a small amount to big impact, is something that just it gets my reviewer heart going. And so we are going to follow up last year's video where I gave a recommendation of 5 great games that you could give as stocking stuffers with another 5 great small box games that I've been playing and loving this year. To start out this list, we're going to go with the latest release, and that is General Orders, a new game by the dynamic duo of David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin, the people who brought you Undaunted, the people who brought you War Chest, and so many other titles, either collaboratively or individually. This is a minimalistic war game set in World War II that is exactly what you'd want from these two, both feeling somewhat familiar but also completely new. It's a worker placement game where the worker placement drives your tactical capabilities, and so much information, so much thematic resonance is conveyed with so little in this game. It's easy to pick up. It's a fantastic game for couples or for parents who are wanting to introduce more complex tactical games to their kids. And in spite of its limitations of being 2 head-to-head maps that you can play, there's a surprising amount of versatility, out of variability that you can introduce to the game, and the tactical avenues that you can explore add a lot. Now, climbing up Yon Tower, we have to talk about Splendor Duel. Splendor Duel is a game that came out towards the end of last year, and I didn't get a chance to add it to the list because I hadn't played it at the point in which I gave my recommendations for these types of games last year. And listen, I've kind of gotten burnt out on Splendor over the years because I played so much of it. It is a game that I love, but I plumbed the depths. Splendor Duel takes all that's great about the original game, then strips it down to be focused for only 2 players, and really gives that wonderful Bruno Catala twist where everything is about the opportunity cost in the game. There's a central puzzle to how you acquire the gems, and depleting the gems that are available to other players is also going to open up new opportunities for either player to kind of shift things around. And it's surprisingly strategically layered in how it weaves several disparate parts together, while at the same time being incredibly intuitive. It's a fantastic engine builder, it's a fantastic 2-player game, and it is just one of the best games that you can get in a small box. It is worth taking pretty much on any couple's trip ever. I love Splendor Duel. Now, not everything has to be competitive. We do have more competitive games here, but if you've been following this channel at all over the past year, then you've heard me talk about Sail. It is a new game by formerly Board Game Tables, now known as All Play, that is a 2-player, yes, there are a lot of 2-player games on this, but hey, it's the holidays, get romantic, or have your kids play together, or whatever it is. You know, you can find an opportunity to have a loved one in your life play some games with you. Heck, that's why we give a lot of games. Anyway, Sail is a cooperative game that is a trick-taking game where you and your fellow player are trying to drive a ship towards the end goal through several scenarios while dodging various obstacles, trying to avoid taking damage, and really capitalizing on your best guesses and the information present. It has all of the scheming and conniving that a trick-taking game has, but not that pressure and fear of not being able to get it right because you're in it together. I'm kind of terrible at most trick-taking games because of that anxiety that builds up, but Sail takes that all away because it's something that I can puzzle out with the other player. And when you reach that synchronicity, that simpatico where you're actually driving the ship forward, it feels so good. There's a lot of nuance, there's a lot of strategy, but it comes in such a beautifully put together and very easy to play package. Now, twisting the stack here, we have another head-to-head dueler, because why not? Let's have some two-player games in here. We won't conclude on one, though. We need to talk about Radlands, which is for any of those lapsed Magic the Gathering fans in your life. It is a beautiful, small box, self-contained, head-to-head tactical card game that touches on elements of Magic or Legend of the Five Rings or Versus System or any number of the CCGs that I have dived into headfirst over my life, but somehow manages to make it one shared deck with a ton of variabilities, ton of versatility, and giving you most of the best parts of that type of game while stripping out pretty much all of the negatives. As is to be expected from Roxley, it is beautifully put together. It is very approachable and easy to teach, and it's one of those games that as soon as you play one session, you're like, oh, yes, we're playing this again. Best 2 out of 3, best 3 out of 5, best 5 out of 7. You just keep on going and keep on going. It was a huge hit for me at PAX Unplugged last year when I got down there and got my hands on a copy, and it's a game that I can't imagine getting rid of at this point. It's just such a cohesive, wonderful little package that looks great, plays great, scratches all the itches. It's great. There's a reason why Radlands is popular. And last on this list, come on, we need to talk about Chicken. If we don't have a lifestyle that restricts us to 2 players, and we're looking for something for the family, for the kids, for the grandparents, for the aunts and uncles, and your weird cousin Zeno, who's always giving you strange sweaters, well, Chicken is the solution. It is a new game by Keymaster, who has put out so many lovely projects up until this point, and including Chicken. It is a tumbling dice game. Just look at the aesthetic of this with its cloth map and beautiful custom dice and tokens. It is, yeah, a Yahtzee-like game where you're trying to have these chickens come up and hatch the way you want them to, but they become explosive the more that you play, and you have to choose, do you pass your turn or do you keep on going? Do you push your luck or do you risk more chickens hatching into more chickens, which are riskier chickens? This game is all about quick snap judgments. It's all about things exploding in your face. It's extremely easy to teach, but it has a deceptive amount of nuance in the very minimalistic rules that are involved. It is good to have classic style games on your shelf, so that way you can play with people who haven't bridged the gap into modernity, and Chicken is one of my new favorites. And geez, doesn't this just look like it deserves to be played during the holidays? So that's our list. Those are our 5 games that we recommend as stocking stuffers, or gifts for other people in general, or gifts for yourself, because you deserve to treat yourself. But no matter what, I hope that you have wonderful holidays, you find ways of playing with your loved ones, you get some games in your life, and you get some good times. It's difficult out there, it's frosty out there, there's a lot of challenging stuff, and I'm glad that here we get to share with some of the positivity, some of the joy, and some of the awesomeness of gaming. So what I'm really saying is thank you for being awesome. Thank you for being a great community, and happy holidays from Jack at the Cardboard Herald.